Have you ever wondered why you feel like a stranger in a world that seems so familiar? Why, no matter how hard you try, you can't blend into the crowd as easily as others do? Some call it being different, others call it being strange. But deep down, it feels like a calling. I want to tell you a story. Long ago, in a small village, there was a child who never fit in. While other children played carelessly, this one would sit quietly under the old oak tree, asking questions no one else dared to ask. Why am I here? Why do I feel things others don't? Why do I see signs no one else notices? The elders thought the child was simply too sensitive, too unusual. But one night, when the village was shaken by a terrible storm, it was this very child who sensed the danger before it arrived, guiding the others to safety. What they once called a weakness became the very proof that this soul was chosen. Perhaps you felt something similar. That sense of carrying a light others cannot see, a fire within you that flickers in silence yet refuses to be extinguished. Strangers seem to approach you without reason. You wake at odd hours, as if summoned by an invisible hand. Animals look into your eyes as though they recognize you, and children smile at you without knowing why. None of this is by accident. It is a hidden code written into your life, waiting to be deciphered. The truth is, being a chosen one is not about being perfect or superior. It is about being marked, set apart for a journey that only you can walk. It's the reason your intuition whispers truths before they happen, and why your heart carries a weight you can't explain. And while the world may label you as different, those differences are the very keys to your destiny. But how do you know for certain that you are one of them? What are the unmistakable signs that separate the chosen from the rest of the world? The first step is to uncover the hidden pain that every chosen one feels, but rarely speaks about. Have you ever woken up from a dream that felt so real it left you trembling long after the morning sun rose? Perhaps it wasn't just once, but again and again, the same image, the same scenario repeating itself like a mysterious echo. You wake in the middle of the night with your heart racing, unsure why the dream feels like more than just imagination. Some brush it off as coincidence, but deep down, you know it's not. It's as if the universe itself is whispering in a language only your soul can hear. Maybe you've glanced at the clock countless times, and it always seems to read the same numbers. 3:33, 11:11, 4:44. At first you laugh, thinking it's chance. But when it happens too often, you start to wonder, what is this trying to tell me? Why do these numbers follow me everywhere? It's like an invisible hand leaving breadcrumbs along your path, guiding you towards something you can't yet fully see. Or perhaps you've felt it in your body, a sudden chill that runs through you in a warm room, a weight on your chest for no medical reason, the sensation that someone is watching you, even when you're alone. You might experience tingling in your hands or a pressure in your forehead that makes no logical sense, yet it comes and goes like the tide. These are not random discomforts. They are signals, vibrations passing through your spirit, nudging you to pay attention. And then there are the moments when your heart warns you before your mind understands. You step into a place and immediately feel uneasy, as if the air itself is heavy. You meet a person, and within seconds, something inside you knows whether they can be trusted or not. Others around you continue without noticing, but you sense it with an almost painful clarity. This heightened awareness can feel like a burden, isolating you from those who don't see or feel what you do. It is in these daily mysteries, dreams, numbers, sensations, and intuitions that the chosen begin to recognize who they are. The world calls them coincidences, but your spirit knows better. This is the hidden language of destiny, woven into the fabric of your everyday life. Each sign, no matter how small, is a piece of a larger puzzle designed only for you to solve. Yet this awareness can be heavy. It makes you feel different, separated from those around you. When you try to explain, people may laugh or dismiss your experiences, calling them superstition or imagination. They don't understand the way your body shakes when the truth passes through you, or how your soul aches with the knowledge that there is something more, just beyond the veil of the ordinary. You carry questions inside that rarely find answers. Why me? Why do I see what others cannot? But let me tell you something, your pain is not in vain. The confusion, the sleepless nights, the restless wondering, these are not signs of weakness. They are the fingerprints of a higher calling. To be chosen means to be set apart, and being set apart often begins with discomfort, with mysteries that refuse to leave you alone. And so the question remains, if these signs are not coincidences, if they are indeed the secret language of the divine, then what hidden truth are they leading you toward? There is a secret known to mystics, prophets, and seekers across the ages, a truth whispered in sacred texts and carved into the memory of human souls. The first unmistakable sign that you are a chosen one is your extraordinary sensitivity to intuition. It is not just a gut feeling or a random hunch. It is a direct channel, a spiritual antenna connecting you to the invisible currents of the divine. Ancient writings confirm this. In the Bible, Joseph received dreams that revealed the future of nations. Daniel interpreted visions that kings could not understand. Elijah heard not the thunder or the fire, but the gentle whisper of God in the silence of the desert. What others dismissed as coincidence or imagination became the very compass that led these chosen souls into their destiny. And so it is with you. When your heart tells you to pause before stepping into a place, when you sense someone's true nature long before they speak, when you feel an invisible nudge that later proves right, these are not random occurrences. They are signs that you walk with a heightened awareness. The unseen world is speaking to you, guiding you, protecting you. Imagine this. A person is about to board a bus, but suddenly they feel a strong resistance in their spirit, as if something is urging them to wait. They listen. Minutes later, they hear of an accident involving that very bus. To others, it seems like luck. To the chosen one, it is a reminder. Your path is guarded by something greater. This gift of intuition is both a blessing and a responsibility. For the chosen, it can feel overwhelming. You carry knowledge that others cannot comprehend. You sense dangers before they arrive, and you see opportunities where others only see obstacles. It sets you apart, but it also confirms what your soul has always known. You were not meant to walk blindly. Many traditions speak of this. In ancient Egypt, priests trained in the hidden eye believed intuition was the soul's way of seeing without sight. In Christianity, Paul wrote of the discernment of spirits, the ability to know what comes from light and what comes from darkness. In Eastern wisdom, it is the awakening of the third eye, the seat of spiritual perception. Though the names differ, the truth is the same. Those who are chosen are entrusted with a deeper way of seeing. But this gift can be heavy. People may not believe you. They may call you paranoid, dramatic, or strange, yet your accuracy speaks for itself. Again and again, your feelings prove to be true. You sense when a friend is in pain before they speak. You know when something is wrong even in silence. And though the world ignores these signs, heaven keeps sending them. Why? Because the chosen are not called to live in ignorance. They are called to be awake. Think of the countless times you ignored your intuition and later regretted it. That uneasy feeling before trusting someone who later betrayed you. That voice in your chest telling you to wait, but you rushed anyway and ended up hurt. Every chosen soul knows this pain, the pain of knowing you should have listened. But even in this regret, there is wisdom. It teaches you that your inner compass is not to be doubted, for it is one of the greatest proofs of your spiritual identity. And here lies the hidden meaning. Your intuition is not only a guide for your own life, but a light for others. When you walk into a room, your presence shifts the atmosphere because you carry awareness. People are drawn to you, sensing you know something they do not. They may seek your advice without understanding why. They may resist you because your very being reveals truths they would rather avoid. This is the mystery of the chosen. You are both a mirror and a lamp. So do not silence this gift. Do not bury it under doubt or fear. Recognize it for what it truly is, a divine seal upon your soul, marking you as different. Every whisper, every sign, every moment of clarity is an invitation to trust that you are guided. The more you honor this gift, the stronger it becomes, and the clearer your path will appear. But here is the question that lingers, the one that opens the door to even greater mysteries. If intuition is the first secret, the first undeniable mark of the chosen, then what deeper trials and revelations await those who carry this gift? Before we go further, I want to pause and thank you for being here. This is not just a video, it is a gathering of souls, a circle of seekers who recognize the signs and refuse to ignore them. If these words have touched you, I invite you to like this video and subscribe so you can be part of this growing community. A place where hidden truths are revealed and no one has to walk this journey alone. There was once a young woman named Sarah who carried a quiet sadness inside her. To everyone else, she seemed ordinary. She worked in an office, smiled politely at neighbors, and went about her days unnoticed. But Sarah lived with a gnawing feeling that she did not belong, as though her life were a costume she was forced to wear. It began with dreams, not just any dreams, but vivid, repeating visions. She would find herself walking down a narrow stone path at night, lit only by the pale glow of the moon. At the end of the path stood a wooden door, weathered and ancient, with symbols carved into its surface. No matter how many times she dreamed it, she never opened the door. She would wake just as her hand reached for the handle, heart racing, palms sweating, her body trembling as though she had touched lightning. During the day, other strange things happened. Sarah often looked at the clock only to see the same numbers, 11:11, 3:33, 4:44. At first, she laughed it off. Coincidence, she whispered. But it kept happening, almost mocking her disbelief. She began to feel as if the universe was pulling at her sleeves, begging her to pay attention. One morning, on her way to work, Sarah had the unshakable sense that she needed to take a different route. She couldn't explain why. Something inside her whispered, "Not this street." Against her logical mind, she listened. That afternoon, she learned that a serious accident had taken place on the very road she avoided. Her body shook as she realized. What had felt like a random urge was something else entirely. It was guidance. Still, she doubted herself. Could she really trust these signs? Or was she simply imagining things because she wanted her life to mean more than it did? The conflict inside her grew, and with it came loneliness. She felt she couldn't tell her friends. They would laugh, brush it off, or worse, tell her she was losing her mind. One evening, Sarah sat at the park, staring at the fading sunset. A stray dog approached her, eyes gentle, tail wagging, as if they had known each other for years. He lay at her feet, resting his head against her leg. Tears filled Sarah's eyes. For the first time in a long time, she felt seen, not by people, but by creation itself. Something whispered through that moment. You are not lost. You are chosen. The door from her dreams, the numbers on the clock, the whisper to take another path, the animals and children drawn to her, none of it was coincidence. It was a tapestry, each thread leading her closer to the truth. And as Sarah slowly began to trust these signs, her life transformed. She left behind what drained her and moved toward a path of healing, helping others who also felt like strangers in their own skin. Her story is not just hers. It belongs to anyone who has ever felt a strange stirring in their soul, anyone who has seen patterns others cannot explain, anyone who has carried the heavy but holy knowledge that they are different. Sarah's journey is your mirror, a reflection of the signs you too have been given. And now, I want to ask you something deeply personal. Have you ever lived through a moment like this? Have you had a dream, a number, a sensation, or an encounter that felt like more than coincidence, something you knew was a message for you? If you have, I invite you to share it in the comments below. I read them with care, and in upcoming videos, I may even mention your story as a way of honoring this sacred community we are building together. Because if Sarah's journey teaches us anything, it is this: your signs are not accidents, and your story might just be the key that unlocks someone else's awakening. But there is another revelation waiting, a secret that goes beyond dreams and numbers, beyond feelings and encounters. A truth that shakes the very ground of ordinary life and reveals a power hidden within those who are chosen. The second great sign that reveals you are a chosen one is the mysterious awakening in the silent hours of the night. Many people dismiss it as insomnia, stress, or coincidence. But if you often find yourself waking between 3 and 4 a.m., alert for no apparent reason, you are stepping into a doorway that most of the world ignores. This is known in ancient traditions as the sacred hour, the moment when the veil between the physical and the spiritual world grows thin. In Christianity, it is the hour when Christ prayed in Gethsemane, wrestling with the weight of destiny while the rest of the disciples slept. In other teachings, it is called the hour of the soul, a time when spiritual currents are most active and the voice of heaven is easier to hear. You know the experience. You turn in your bed, glance at the clock, and there it is again, 3:17, 3:33, 3:44. Your body feels restless, your heart beats strangely fast, and yet your mind is alert, as if something or someone called you awake. This is not a random disturbance. It is an invitation. The universe is whispering, "Pay attention, I have something to show you." But how do you recognize when this is a sign and not just sleeplessness? The difference is in the weight of the moment. When you wake, notice how your spirit feels. Is there a stirring in your chest, a strange clarity, or a sudden thought that feels almost placed in your mind? These are the fingerprints of a chosen soul. The night becomes a classroom, and your soul becomes the student. Now here is a practical technique that will help you unlock this sign and turn it into a blessing instead of a burden. Keep a notebook by your bed. The moment you wake in these hours, resist the temptation to grab your phone or roll back into sleep. Instead, take the notebook and write whatever comes to mind. It might be a single word, an image, or even a name that feels random. Breathe slowly 3 times. Inhale deeply, exhale gently, and center yourself in the silence. These breaths signal your spirit that you are ready to receive. Ask a question in your heart. It can be simple. What am I being shown? Or what should I pay attention to? Don't expect a loud answer. The response may come as a thought, a sudden calm, or even a dream the next night. Trust the pattern. Over time, you will notice connections. Perhaps the words you write down repeat in unexpected ways. Maybe the feeling you had matches something that unfolds later. The more you honor this sacred hour, the more clearly the messages will come. This practice transforms what feels like an inconvenience into a dialogue with the divine. Instead of fearing the sleepless nights, you embrace them as opportunities, and slowly you realize you are not being awakened by chance. You are being called. The beauty of this sign is that it reminds you of a deeper truth. Chosen souls are never asleep in the way the world is. While others rest in ignorance, you are stirred awake, physically, spiritually, emotionally, to witness what others cannot see. And yet this gift carries a challenge. Not everyone understands why you look tired at work the next day or why you seem lost in thought. They don't know that your sleepless hours are filled with whispers from eternity. This can make you feel isolated, even misunderstood. But remember, isolation is not punishment, it is preparation. It is the shaping of a soul destined for more. If you begin to practice this technique, you will notice a shift. You will start to see patterns in your life that connect in ways too precise to ignore. You will discover guidance in decisions, comfort in sorrow, and clarity in confusion. This is the power of the second secret. It gives you access to wisdom that lies beyond ordinary perception. But what if I told you there is an even deeper sign, a sign not everyone dares to speak of? It is the one that reveals not only that you are chosen, but that you carry within you a force capable of shaking the very foundations of the ordinary world. A hidden mark so profound, only those who are truly awake will ever recognize it. There is a sign so profound, so hidden in plain sight, that when it reveals itself, it shakes the very ground beneath your existence. It is not a dream, not a number, not even the mysterious awakening in the night. The greatest sign that you are a chosen soul is the undeniable sense of separation from the world, the unshakable knowing that you are in this world but not of it. This is not loneliness in the ordinary sense. It is the silence you feel even in a crowded room. It is the weight in your heart when others laugh at shallow things while you hunger for meaning. It is the ache in your spirit when you look at the chaos of the world and whisper, "There must be more than this." Ancient voices knew this truth. In the Gospel of John, Christ said, "If you were of the world would love you as its own. But because you are not of the world, I have chosen you out of the world." These words were not poetic comfort, they were prophecy. To be chosen is to carry within you a frequency that the world cannot comprehend. It is to live as a bridge between heaven and earth. This is why people sometimes misunderstand you, why you feel alien in your own family, why your path winds differently, breaking from traditions, expectations, and norms. It is not rebellion, it is calling. Your soul vibrates to a higher rhythm, and the ordinary world trembles when it hears that sound. But here is the deeper revelation. This separation is not punishment, it is preparation. You were not meant to blend in because your very existence is a message. You are like a candle lit in a room of shadows. Darkness does not hate the candle, it fears the flame. And that flame is within you. Some describe this sign as restlessness. Others call it a longing for home, though they cannot explain what home they are missing. You may sit beneath the stars at night and feel tears well up without reason, as though the sky is calling your name. You may walk through the noise of the city and feel strangely detached, as if watching a play unfold that you are not fully part of. This is not detachment, it is awakening. In the language of mystics, it is the birth of the higher self. In quantum physics, it is coherence. When your inner frequency begins to resonate with something beyond the visible. In prophetic teaching, it is the mark of the remnant, those set apart to carry light into the final chapters of human history. However you name it, it is the same truth. You were made different so that you could make a difference. And let me pause here to tell you something important. This message, these words you hear now, they are not made for profit or entertainment. They are born out of passion, out of love for souls like yours who feel this calling but have nowhere to turn. That is why I ask you, from my heart, to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Each subscription, each small gesture of support strengthens this community of chosen ones who refuse to be silenced. We are not many, but we are united. And together, our flame can grow brighter. Now listen carefully. This deepest sign, the sense of separation, is not the end of the story. It is the doorway. Once you accept that you are not like the rest, once you embrace that your soul carries a higher mark, something extraordinary begins to unfold. You start to notice that your very presence changes people. Strangers confide in you. Environments shift when you enter. Dreams grow more vivid, and coincidences sharpen into undeniable patterns. It is as though the universe itself recognizes you, and every breath you take echoes with the question, will you accept who you truly are? For the chosen, this is the turning point. It is no longer about seeing signs, it is about becoming the sign. Your life, your words, your actions become living evidence of the divine. And that, my friend, is the most powerful revelation of all. But there is still one final step, one last unveiling that ties everything together. Because once you know who you are, you must also understand why you were chosen. And the answer to that question will change everything. All throughout this journey, we have uncovered signs that seem invisible to the world, yet undeniable to the soul. The dreams that whisper in the night, the numbers that appear like hidden codes, the awakenings at sacred hours, the magnetic presence that draws children and animals near, the intuition that warns and guides you, the feeling of being set apart, and finally, the deep recognition that you are not like the rest. Each of these is not a random event. Together, they form a sacred map, one designed for those who are willing to see, those who are brave enough to admit that there is more to life than what meets the eye. If you have felt these signs, it means your soul has been touched, awakened, and called. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are chosen. The purpose of these signs is not to make you feel superior, but to remind you of your mission. You carry a light that others need, a flame that can bring comfort where there is despair, wisdom where there is confusion, and hope where there is darkness. When you recognize these signs within yourself, you are no longer just a seeker, you become a guide. You become part of a living testimony that heaven has not forgotten this world. Think about it. Every time you followed your intuition, you weren't just protecting yourself, you were aligning with a greater plan. Every time you embraced solitude instead of fearing it, you weren't abandoned, you were being prepared. Every dream, every number, every sleepless night has been shaping you into someone who can carry divine purpose into ordinary life. And here is the most important truth. You are not alone. There are countless others who feel this same call, scattered across cities, towns, and nations. Together we are like pieces of a great mosaic, each unique, but part of a greater image. When we come together, the pattern reveals itself, and the light becomes impossible to ignore. This is why this community matters. It is more than a channel. It is a gathering place for the chosen, a circle where hidden truths are honored and shared. And you are part of it now. So here is my invitation. If any of these words touched your soul, if you recognized yourself in these signs, I want you to leave a comment below with your name and city. In the next video, I will read your names and send you a special greeting, because you deserve to be seen not only by me, but by this entire circle of seekers walking this path together. And if you haven't yet, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Not for numbers, not for profit, but because every like and subscription makes this flame burn brighter, helping more souls awaken to the truth of who they are. This work is done out of passion and love, and your presence here strengthens this mission more than you know. Remember this, the signs are not outside you, they live within you, pulsing in your spirit, waiting to be awakened. You are here because you were meant to hear this. You are here because the divine has whispered your name. And as we close this journey, know that this is not the end, it is only the beginning. For there are mysteries yet to be revealed, truths yet to be unveiled, and a greater awakening waiting just beyond the horizon. The question is, when the next sign appears, will you be ready to follow it?